It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspective of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association and can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA AM 1490, FM 101.3, Jaws Country FM 100.9, and ESPN Radio AM 630 and FM 92.9. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Energy Insights on a Saturday morning, and we're pleased to have Jerry James with us, president of Artex Oil Company here in Marietta. And Jerry, let's just jump right into, the energy and COVID and what has happened in the industry. I know that's a very broad thought, but just kind of walk us through.
Well, good morning, Johnny, and I got to say it's a big topic. When you really look at energy, the way to always think about energy, it's a reflection of how healthy the economy is. And I got to tell you right now, with the drop in demand of energy, the economy is really not healthy. We're seeing testing numbers that quite frankly, I've been in this business for 45 years. I've never seen in my whole career, is how much the economic activity's collapsed, and it's collapsed the price of oil.
So, like per barrel, what would be a number right now relative to what we're doing?
Believe it or not, there's a point in this week where oil hit below $3 a barrel, down in the $2 a barrel range. I have never seen that in my entire career. I started in this business back in 1976, and the price back then was in the low teens.
So steer me right if I lead you wrong here, but I hear about like Saudi and Russia got into a little tete-a-tete that we end up the victims of if they started flooding the global market.
Well, really, you've got the match right there. The price started dropping really about mid-March, and one of the things that caused a precipitous drop was once there was a realization that demand was going to drop due to the COVID-19 virus, and what causes the demand drop is what happens is that people quit traveling. When you quit traveling, you don't use as much jet fuel, you don't use as much gasoline and everything. And so the Saudis and the Russians, who have been trying to balance the market, because the market's pretty close to balance in mid-March, they got into an argument with each other, and Saudi Arabia's response is, well, we'll just flood the market and collapse the price. So that started it down at that point. Now, since then, I think they've realized that wasn't going to work either, that the demand drop is going to be so severe. The last thing they wanted to do was to be flooding the market, and they kind of backed off that here in the last week or two.
Jerry James is the president of Artex Oil Company. This is Energy Insights brought to you by Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. So energy consumption down, very obviously. If you just look out the window right now, you can tell that there aren't a lot of people filling up or using energy as they would have. And you mentioned that the airlines. And so with that, I guess, then the storage just fills up, right?
It really does. If you tend to think about energy use, we use about 100 million barrels a day in the whole world of oil of all different grades and everything like that. We're not quite sure how much it's off. That's how fast the number's dropping, that people are even having a hard time getting a handle on how much the drop has been. But people think it could be 20 million barrels a day, 30 million barrels a day. It really shows you the sorry state of the world's economy. And so for that, generally they can store, I don't know, a billion and a half barrels maybe of available storage. And right now it is starting to fill up, and that's what's causing the price collapse. There's just nowhere physically for the molecules to go.
As the industry goes, and I think this goes with anything from, small retail to radio to whatever the industry might be, there's got to be some concerns, that certain sectors just won't be able to make it through this.
I think it's definitely true. When you look at the oil companies, we've already had one bankruptcy. A Western oil company's already announced bankruptcy. I would expect to see more bankruptcies, unfortunately. The other thing I think it's really going to hurt the energy industry is when we get back to working, hopefully, let's hope it's within a matter of days, not weeks, and certainly not months. I think this has been way overdone, is that a lot of business will go back, and if you run a restaurant and you can finally open your doors back up, you'll be able to charge the same price for a meal as you did when you closed. But the problems in the industry, because we'll have this overhang of 1 billion barrels or more sitting there in inventory, this price could go on well into next year. Problem could go into next year, maybe even longer.
All right. Jerry James is our guest. Energy Insights is the program, and we thank Jerry as well as Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Mr. James, thank you very much. Keep the bootstraps tight and keep after it, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on WMOA Local Radio, Jaws Country, and ESPN Radio, as Johnny Wharf brings you your local and inside perspectives going on in the oil and gas industry right here in the Mid-Ohio Valley.